All right, beautiful. I'm really loving this purple tea. Wamesema nisiweke sukari, so I'm like, wow, very healthy. But anyway, we are back, and it's time for us to look at the newspapers, starting us off with the Daily Nation, of course. I see here the very first top story, Ruto faces Mount Kenya. And I see here that President William Ruto's return to the mountain today will see him come face to face with issues threatening to foment a rebellion against his government, even as he seeks to pacify a region that voted for him almost to a man in the 2022 polls. That is on pages 4 and also 5. And I see here what the president has to confront is, first of all, protest by Gachagua, Uhuru, opposition to new taxes, place of Miraa in Muguka, and coffee and tea reforms. Quite a lot. And I see here 6.8 billion shillings debts owed by coffee farmers written off. This is still on the politics. Still on the top page, past punitive tax bill without changes, MPs told. And I see here 302 billion shillings is what finance bill is seeking to raise for the 3.9 trillion budget for 2024-2025 financial year. And I see here the Treasury wants Parliament to adopt punitive tax measures contained in the Finance Bill 2024 in order to raise revenue to pay Kenya's debt that currently stands at 11.2 trillion shillings. The Treasury defended the additional taxes and expanded tax base, arguing that Kenya's debt situation is set to take a turn for the worse in the medium term. This is a story on page 7. And let's just have a look at what's being reported in page 2. And it's about education. The teachers' contracts were terminated on Monday in what TSC termed professional misconduct. Kopet threatens to sue TSC over sacked JSS tutors, a story we've been handling earlier on in the week. I see Union has formally written to commission to reinstate the 742 teachers within 14 days. At a glance, 10,348 teachers got show cause letters. And I see here the Teachers Service Commission issued show cause letters to 10,348 teachers, giving them 14 days to respond and report back to work. Some 9,606 teachers reported back, leaving out 742 whose contracts were cancelled. In total, 46,000 teachers are on contract. Over the weekend, the leadership of a lobby that has been coordinating the strike issued a statement calling off the strike. However, the teachers who are deployed to junior schools had their contracts terminated on Monday in what the commission termed professional misconduct. We will keep following up on that story. That is on page 2. Page 3, I see woman in race against time to save her only child from illness. It's a desperate situation as the baby needs bone marrow transplant in an Indian hospital before July 5th. And I see here the biggest moment of motherhood has turned into a nightmare. This is from Teresa Ndongo. And I see here she was elated when she delivered her baby Ariana Wairimu 11 months ago. When the nurses handed her the bundle, the first cry was thrilling, she says. And I see here, adding on to that, even with her eyes closed, I saw a mark of greatness, a girl I would spare no effort to bring up. Little did she know that barely a year into the baby's first birthday, she would be fighting to save her life. This is really, really sad. And this is a medical appeal to all the well-wishers. And if you would love to send a contribution, I see here the pay bill number is 522-533, and amount that is needed is up to 7,834,867, and the name is Baby Ariana Medical Fund. M-Pesa number also is 0720677064. Allow me to say that one more time. The pay bill number is 522-533. So that is pay bill 522533. Oh, the account, sorry. I thought it's the amount that is needed, but actually it's the account number, which is 7834867. 7834867. The pay bill number being 522533, and the M-Pesa number that you can also send that amount to is 0720677064. And just to clarify on the amount that is needed, she says 6 million figure is what is actually required for baby Ariana to have her life saved, who needs a bone marrow transplant. So, well wishers, you can gather and help out this beautiful baby, and that is on page 3. Let's go to page 4. I see facing Mount Kenya, Ruto visits seeks to calm restive region. I see President has to deal with protests from his deputy and predecessor, as well as proposed new taxes and the place of Mira and all that. So that is a story on page 4. I see facing Mount Kenya, Ruto visit seeks to calm restive region. That's a story on page 5. And going to page 6, court asked to stop Magarini mini poll, a story on page 6. Page 7, Treasury urges MPs to pass proposals in finance bill. And more on the same, 2018, this is the year the country's debt was at low risk, according to the Treasury Principal Secretary Chris Kiptoo. And 68 billion shillings is what KRA projected to collect through the Tax Procedure Act in the current financial year. The authority instead collected 60 billion shillings, according to Dr. Kiptoo. And moving on page 8, I see state seeks to roll out digital IDs for livestock to boost meat production. I see farmers will be able to monitor feeding and disease control measures such as deworming, tick control, and also vaccinations. And I see here from the Livestock Development Principal Secretary Jonathan Mweke saying farmers will present a certificate detailing their livestock rearing practices to slaughterhouses. And moving on to the back page, I see Bill wants SRC commissioners employed on a part-time basis. The SRC has opposed the move in its submissions to the MPs. Commissioners are full-time employees who serve for a non-renewable term of 6 years. This is a story on the back page. And I see here proposed law seeks to limit meetings, 15 being the number of meetings that the proposed legislation seeks to limit members of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission to per year. A story on the back page. And moving on to the sports page, I see here on page 35, Germany eye title as fans get ready for Euro party. And page 34, gritty Kenyan girls in with a shout of gaining promotion. Hosts led by Okutoi take on Nigeria today in the first of their 2 final matches. And moving on to the Standard, I see here the tax pain, but what's there to show for it? I see the Treasury CS will today deliver President Ruto's second budget at a time when Kenyans are up in arms over high cost of living. But even as the minister lists fiscal and policy measures to grow the economy, questions are being asked of what the government has to show for the increased tax burden on Kenyans. And I think this is the conversation that we have been having even in the corridors that, well, people have no problem paying taxes, but where is this money going? And I see here what's inside. The expectation is Kenyan list their wishes for the 2024 budget. CS big reveal, will Njuguna Ndongo pull an ace? All you need to know, the A to Z of this year's budget, secrets to statements, why Kibaki's budget hit home, sobriety, alcoholic traders protest against high taxes, funding dilemma, President Farm stand on taxes, job losses, industries one, new taxes will lead to layoffs. And this is a special report on pages 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and also 9. All you need to know about this new budget. And I see 3.9 trillion, the size of President Ruto's administration's second budget since assuming power following the 2022 general election. And moving on to other stories besides that, I see here Kuppet in strike threat over JSS teachers sacking. Union issues a 2-week strike notice as it accuses the teacher's employer of dishonesty after allegedly reneging on promise. And I also see here, still on page 10, ghost of revenge returned to haunt former President. Uhuru Kenyatta's frustrations over delayed release of funding to his office is karma personified after he blocked former Prime Minister Raila Odinga and ex-VP Kalonzo Musyoka 10 years ago from accessing their parks. Okay, interesting. This is a story on page 10. Let's go to the back page. How playing home away from home cost Harambee Stars. Kenya staged their 2 World Cup qualifiers in Malawi due to lack of FIFA-accredited facilities. More on the same, Captain Olunga urges the government to fast-track renovations at Nyayo Kasarani. And page 39, Lam hopes Euro 2024 can bring Europe together. Lam played at the 2006 World Cup, the last time Germany hosted a major football tournament. Euro 2024 kicks off when Germany face Scotland in Munich on Friday night. A story on page 39. And let us move on to the Business Daily. And I see here that the men and women who can ease or worsen Kenyan's tax burden. Taxes, taxes, everywhere taxes. Finance Committee retreats to Naivasha. 15 MPs have powers to propose changes. And I also see still on the same Finance Bill, Edwin Mutai. I see the 15-member National Assembly's Finance and National Planning Committee will over the next 5 days determine the fate of the tax proposals in the contentious Finance Bill 2024, which has drawn sharp criticism from industry groups and also individual taxpayers. And moving on to the back page, Science New Pharma are fast closing in on Big Pharma, and that is a pharmacist. While it has taken some firms a century to become leaders, a new breed of tech-savvy drug makers are shaking this dominance. A story on the back page. And on to the last word from Max Dupree, who is an American businessman and writer. He says the first responsibility of a leader is to define reality. The last is to say thank you. In between the two, the leader must become a servant and also a debtor. Interesting leadership quotes right there. That is from Max Dupree. So we've come to the end of our newspaper review, but of course you can catch up on more news that is on Hope FM at the top of every hour, and of course right here on Hope TV we have Dira at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. we have Newswatch. Let us now have a look at the video of the day.